President Trump's jabs at Pope Leo stretched into a fourth day today when the president reposted this AI-generated image of himself being embraced by Jesus. Not sure if the celestial light is Trump's that he is shining onto Jesus, or if that it's Jesus sharing his light with the man who's increasingly fashioning himself as America's Lord and Savior. In the image, President Trump has his eyes closed, doesn't appear to be sleeping, while he is cradled by Jesus. The presidential prose that accompanied the image, the radical left lunatics might not like this, but I think it is quite nice. For sheer bizarreness, however, and a dose of messianic madness, hard to beat AI Jesus Trump, the golden, godlike celestial light pouring forth from his manly hands, healing the sick, answering prayers. It is glorious. Hours later, he took it down, not because the radical left lunatics, but because some allies in Congress and people who do actually have faith were outraged. The president said he thought it was an image of him as a doctor, which then makes you wonder who were those alleged doctors who had allegedly administered him those alleged cognitive tests, which he allegedly aced. This latest post of Trump with Jesus, not Trump as Jesus, comes after his vice president was giving advice to Pope Leo, the leader of 1.4 billion Catholics, including Mr. Vance, on religious doctrine. It was at a Turning Point USA event in Georgia.
I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology. I think one of the issues here is that if you're going to opine on matters of theology, you've got to be careful, you've got to make sure it's anchored in the truth, and that's one of the things that I try to do, and it's certainly something I would expect from the clergy.
On the day the president was promoting the image of him and Jesus huddling, the Pope, on a trip to Algeria, referencing a visit to the Great Mosque of Algiers, promoted the gospel of unity.
Although we have different beliefs, we have different ways of worshiping, we have different ways of living, we can live together in peace. And so I think that to promote that kind of image is something which the world needs to hear today.